Part 9. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 81. In other words, do you care more about evaluation and other people's approval than money? So, you are not greedy for money. The same is true for you in the dream. When you grow up, you become a lawyer, but all you do is defend ordinary people, and you are even often exempted from attorney fees. So, Horikita Suzun doesn't love money. Be of noble character. Oreki suddenly felt that the lawyer version of Horikita-san in his dream was not his fantasy. Maybe this is really the future development of this person. Oreki. No. Isn't this terrifying? He has the ability to have precognitive dreams, but the future appearance of Horikita-san in his dream is too real. It makes people think it is also a prophetic dream. After all, he is just a new superpower user, so it is possible that the superpowers he has acquired cannot be fully controlled. In other words, could it be that the dream about Horikita Suzun growing up and having 2 daughters with her was a precognitive dream? But in the confirmed precognitive dream, I was dating Kuruzawa-san from Class D. He dated Kuruzawa, but ended up marrying Horikita Suzun. And if the Horikita-san I dreamed about was not a precognitive dream, it was just my ordinary dream. So it means that he has been paying attention to her, and then he thinks about her day and night. Then just now, I felt a little excited because I felt that I was being taken care of. So, what kind of terrible boy has he become? Thinking of the subtlety, Oreki turned his attention away. The two of them were walking in school. At first, he called Horikita-san over because Oreki didn't have enough points, only 320,000, and he had to make up for the 1 million from the unknown transfer. But now it is confirmed that he is indeed being kept. And the other party even specially paid 2 million to spend as he pleased. Therefore, there is no compulsory task for Oreki-san to collect points. There is no need to refill points so quickly. But after all, we have called Horikita-san out, so let's make some money to show off. Oreki-san thought to himself. Horikita, what do you think is the best way to collect points? Oreki asked. Collecting points, according to your previous method, you collect points from students. Yet Oreki nodded. If you want to collect points in the long term, there are 3 directions. One is to take special exams, the second is from the students in the school. The third source is the faculty and staff, and they also use points to consume in this school. But when I went to the chairman to exchange cash yesterday, I found that there were dedicated staff for the exchange. And it's not like just looking for people to make up the numbers, but specifically setting up these people to do this job. That is to say, the school staff will also exchange cash while spending money in the school. So they may not have much savings in school, so they still have to find students to get points. Profound. Horikita-san nodded to show that he was listening. In fact, she had no plan. It would be better to say that the points gained after enrolling were all brought up by Oreki-san. At the same time, she felt that Oreki-san actually explained so much to her today. Usually it's not like, Horikita, you do whatever you want, Horikita, you do whatever you want next, or Horikita, you just stay aloof or something like that. Horikita, you can go back, etc. Result. Now he is actually explaining and imparting knowledge to her. What happened to Oreki-san? She obviously doesn't know. Oreki-san is reflecting on himself. Troubled by the complexities of her own adolescence. Because I always dreamed about Horikita-san, I was thinking about whether there was something deep inside my heart about her. And whether he actually has the potential to be a scumbag. Complicated feelings. Anyway, since it's out, let's get some points. Oreki said. Actually, I have reserved a reserve point among the students. It's always been there, and then I think, now that it's a new month, the other person should be filled in. But he was busy before, so I don't know how many points he has left, Oreki said. So how much you can swipe depends on how much he has left. Horikita Suzune. Suzune didn't answer the question because she always felt that Oreki-san was overly describing people as points. After a while, I found that Oreki-san didn't explain, so I continued to ask. So who's your reserve point of choice? It's that man. Look, he's coming. Oreki said. The two people were now on the stairs below the teaching building, but at the vending machine on the first floor of the stairs, several people came. These people look impressive. It's also a small team. And unlike several factions in Class A, they are students from Class C. And there is only one faction, the Ryuan faction. Ryuan Sho claims to be the tyrant of Class C. He has red hair parted in the middle, is very tall, and looks quite domineering. That's Sho Ryuan from Class C. Our plan to open a store was also terminated because of him, Oreki explained. He integrated Class C, and then discovered that the points of the students in the class were leaking out, so he terminated the students in Class C and our store opening plan. Oh. Profound. That's it? Horikita Suzune knew. Oreki just wanted to cheat Class C and Class B of their early points. What he said is that as long as there are representatives from Class B and Class C, they will also participate in the class competition. So in order to climb up, you definitely don't want to lose points in your class. Therefore, the store opening plan will definitely be terminated like a strong man cutting off his wrist. So the fact that Ryuan can do this kind of thing shows that Ryuan is very courageous, and at the same time, it also shows that he is sharp and insightful. And is this the representative of Class C? If she continues to be asked by Chibashira to bring Class D to Class B, she must first defeat Ryuan. After all, above Class D is Class C. It's just that Class C has been integrated in a short period of time, while Class D is still a puddle of mud. Completely spread out. In other words, she suddenly realized that she did not have the ability to command Class D. There is no ability to lead Class D to climb up. Because Chibashira-sensei himself didn't even look at who Class D was. That was someone who performed some kind of quantitative ranking on the first day of school, and then obtained the school rules, but had his class evaluation score of 1000 points deducted to 0. No self-control. There is also no class cohesion. And how to bring these people? And can she, Horikita Suzune, take someone with her? Well, she wanted to prove that she was not a waste, but she found out about the written exam at the beginning of this month, and then offered to take tutoring. Result. In fact, no one listened to her. So in Class D, she basically looked after herself, took care of herself, and studied by herself. Except for the fact that Kushida Kikyo sometimes came to harass her, or Sakura-san sitting next door occasionally looked at her curiously, she was always alone. As for the other classes, there is Oreki-san in Class A. Not only Oreki-san, there are already students from Class A who have joined my brother's student council. Then Class B, there was no contact there. But here in Class C, Ryuan can make decisions like a strong man cutting off his wrist. Moreover, Ryuan used violence. Although it was annoying, he succeeded. Make Class C the only one who speaks. On her side, in Class D, she lives alone. Thinking about it this way, Horikita-san discovered the gap between her class and other classes. Not to mention, the final target is Oreki Houtarou. There is no way to win or fight. Horikita Suzune. I suddenly felt a little down. She said. Oreki looked at Horikita-san again. Why are you so frustrated again? Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 82. But at this time, Ryuan and his party noticed Oreki and Horikita Suzune. Oh, isn't this Oreki Houtarou? Ryuan Sho's eyes quickly fell on Oreki. Ryuan walked up directly from the stairs next to the vending machine. Ishizaki Daichi, whom I met once at the milk tea shop, was in the back. Then the other person was a 2-meter-tall dark-skinned mixed-race man. Judging from the information obtained previously, this hybrid is Albert, who Ryuan could not defeat but successfully harassed and tamed. Oreki looked in the direction of Ishizaki Daichi. Ishizaki Daichi caught his eyes, seemed a little awkward, and turned his head to the side. Oh. That's it? It shows that although Ryuan used violence, the people around him were not completely tame. At least Ishizaki-sen still thinks it's a pity that Oreki's plan to open a store has been terminated. In other words, Nagamo-senpai took the blame well. No one thinks he is a bad person. But Oreki Houtarou, are you scared? Ryuan looked at him. Ryuan rushed directly to Class A's classroom, and was taken away by Oreki by saying there was a camera. It can be said that he has always remembered this. He finally used violence to gather the class, but the points of the class had been harvested by Houtarou Oreki. The mood is very explosive. There are cameras here too, Oreki said. Glanced at the camera. Ryuan-san, don't you think you are discrediting your class? Haha. Long Yuan also glanced at the camera, but smiled disdainfully. There will be no code of conduct assessment this month. So points will be deducted, nothing. But I can still fight, Oreki-san said calmly. Ryuan-san, your current class only has a class evaluation score of 390 points. If I don't earn a few points, my classmates will be dissatisfied. And in this case, one gets deducted points for fighting, and even angers Class A because of it. Then he was violently attacked by Class A. You may be able to escape this exam, but what about the next one? Class C is not far away from the tragic situation of zero class evaluation score. Long Yuan. This sentence spoke to his heart. For this exam, it has been confirmed that basically all classes have purchased the test papers. And most of the students in Class C are scumbags, including himself. And because they are poor students, they all recite the same paper. It does not mean that everyone can recite and pass the test with 100 points. In other words, if there is a test paper, everyone will get a score of 70 or 80. Therefore, I will definitely not be able to get the full 100-point class evaluation score reward for this special exam. Then the points that can be added are not that great. Class C's class evaluation score is too low. 390 points, the school X100 scored less than 40,000 points. For an ordinary student, the monthly living expenses are 40,000 yuan, not to mention that 20,000 yuan is deducted from him every month. So if there are very few next month, the students in the class may be dissatisfied. Because under his leadership, he lived a life of hunger and cold, which he didn't like. And now it's like this for a fight or something, and then points are deducted. I'm afraid the people in the class will rebel. Cut. Ryuan curled his lips. You're lucky. So, as the tyrant of Class C, Ryuan, how many thousands of points have you collected now? Oreki said. I'm curious. Long Yuan. What do you want to do, guy? And you are not allowed to be curious. Are you so wary that you don't even dare to say the number? Oreki said. I can show you the points on my student ID card. Why should I show you? Long Yuan said. If Oreki Houtarou looked a little weak, then he wanted to use violence. But now I suddenly feel very uneasy. He came from a gangster background and got into many fights in junior high school. He was also chased by many people. At that time, he could avoid these, and often relied on his sixth sense. And now, suddenly I felt uneasy. Then let's think of it as 1 million, Oreki said. I'll accept the 1 million points. Long Yuan. I only have 800,000 now. Feeling that Oreki was poisonous, Ryuan became more vigilant. And Oreki quoted a range that exceeded the number of points in his hand. If he was really cheated, would he still have to collect an additional 200,000? So why not first tell us a number that can be taken out? Then thank you Ryuan-san for your honesty, Oreki said. Then, as if his goal had been achieved, he walked towards the bottom of the stairs. And Susan Horikita continued to follow in the background. Ryuan and his party were left behind. Ryuan, what does Oreki Houtarou want to do this time? Did you find some way to make money? Daiichi Ishizaki asked curiously. We don't have much points now. If it's a good project that pays off immediately dash. Long Yuan. You idiot, he is asking about my points, which means it is my points he wants to get. Then there's a damn way to make money. He just wants to defraud me of my money. However, he quickly laughed. I have to be more vigilant. No matter what sweet words he talks about to attract people to buy shares, I will not agree to it. So I want to see how he is going to get the 800,000 from me. And Oreki led Horikita-san down the stairs. The Ryuan just now is the point reserve I was referring to. The way to get points is to extract them from students. And Ryuan has commanded Class C, so there is a chance to collect Class C's points. So now we don't need to contact each individual, but just take the points directly from Long Yuan. But his points gained are a bit low. It seems that Class C is not that good, Oreki-san said. No. Horikita-san thinks it's great that Class C can unite as one. Unlike Class D, she doesn't have the right to speak, and Kushida or Hirata, who have the right to speak, don't have much intention to compete in the class. It's more like, whatever, that's a good feeling. And this kind of thinking makes people lose hope. It's just that since Ryuan can command Class C, he was able to restrain himself just now. I always feel that I am different from Ishizaki and the others. Horikita-san also expressed his opinion. There have been cases where Ishizaki and others were terminated from our plan to open a store. Long Yuan will no longer take the initiative to participate in other projects. But Oreki-san shook his head. Don't think I can only talk nice words. It's troublesome to attract Ryuan with a project that looks good and still have to convince him. I don't like trouble. As long as the points in his hand are in his hand, that's fine. Ryuan didn't actually mean to be violent just now, but I said that on purpose. Then he deliberately asked him to look at the camera. What do you think it was for? Ryuan is a person who uses violence to collect classes. He also has a bad temper. I just angered him like that. What do you think he will do? What do you mean? Horikita Susan looked over quickly. Ryuan doesn't seem to be the type to be patient, so he will bully those who are easy to bully. I deliberately told him that fighting on camera would result in points being deducted. So, there's a good chance he's going to find a place where there are no cameras. Then hit someone to vent your anger. And you can choose the target to bully. There is no reason for it to be a student in your own class, so it can only be a student from Class D, which is your class, who is considered trash, Oreki said. At this time, it is not the time when Ryuan can choose whether to hand over the points or not, but he can only hand them over. For it. Horikita-san sounded a little dazed. That is to say, was there actually a class competition just now? The representative of Class C was guided on the spot by Oreki-san from Class A. Is this the difference between A and C? Sister Horikita suddenly felt that teacher Chibashiro might not be able to fully understand Class D. She was given an order to take Class D to Flight B, etc. She felt, she was about to lose when she didn't notice anything just now. So. Sure enough, I'd better go see a psychiatrist, Horikita Susan said. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 83. So you are autistic again? Oreki realized that he really didn't understand a girl's mind very well. However, because there are too few Ryuan points, if Kushida-san, who understands how girls think, comes to help, then the points will have to be divided again. So, after consulting with Kushida and finding two very capable students from Class D, we made a plan. At the same time, one of the people I contacted actually wanted to pursue a solo career worth 20 million. After finding out that it was Oreki who proposed the deal, he immediately agreed. And the other side. In the evening, Long Yuan had already acquired a place in the school where there were no cameras. He didn't like Oreki Houtarou, but he also knew that he was a student of Class A. If you want to attack him, you will definitely offend Class A. And now Class C has nothing. If they lose the few remaining class evaluation points rashly, those in Class C will riot. And the information obtained can be confirmed. In addition to the extremely high class evaluation scores, Class A already has two students who have entered the student union. It can be said that this year's Class A is incredible. It's like being hooked. But the more challenging things are, the more interested he is. If this school was ordinary, he wouldn't be interested yet, but now, he feels excited inside. But I feel unhappy anyway. So, let me go. Ryuan, Yuan * are capable of fighting alone. A man with red short hair was being held by Ishizaki Daichi and another boy from Class C, Koma Yayama. This man with a red buzz cut is a student from Class D, Ken Syodo. He is a good athlete. He joined the school's basketball team less than a month ago and became an official member of the team. Students in Ryuan's own class, such as Ishizaki and Koma Yayama, also joined the basketball club and could only sit on the bench. So he was probably a little jealous of Syodo. Long Yuan knew it very well. But Ryuan Yuan %U0026. Syodo shouted, "You have the ability to challenge me in a duel." Single challenge? Are you stupid? Ryuan asked Ishizaki and Koma Yayama to hold Syodo off. Then he held out his finger. He poked Syodo's right eye with his finger. But his speed is not fast, allowing Syodo to see the trajectory. Ryuan Yuan %*. And Syodo screamed even more fiercely. However, just when his finger was about to touch Syodo's right eye. Well. Syodo quickly closed his eyes. Ryuan's finger only touched his forehead. It's a soft bone. Ryuan taunted. He just likes to bully this kind of trash. It looks fierce, but it is of no use at all. It is a suitable object to vent your emotions. Oh, it seems that a student in my class is being bullied. However, a voice broke in at this time. Ryuan looked towards the place where the sound came from. His brows furrowed. Because a man walked over there. This man is striking. He was tall, he had blonde hair, and he had fiery red eyes. The body is quite strong, but there seems to be something wrong with just saying strong, because that is bodybuilding. The kind of fitness you would see from a fitness instructor when you go to the gym. This man smells so beautiful of me. Juyunji, I don't want your help. However, Syodo, who had been timid just now, suddenly shouted. The identity of this new golden retriever was directly pointed out. He is a student of Class D, Kojinjiro Kusuke. Albert. Ryuan called out to his classmate who had been following him, but now he had been tamed and became his bodyguard. Albert is a full 2 meters. It looks mighty and majestic. But this new Juyuan temple is also about 1.8 meters tall. At the same time, unlike Albert, he could feel an explosive force. He should be a little expert in fighting. Ryuan immediately used his experience to judge. Oh, do you want to fight with me? Yes, Gao Yuanji said. I'm just here to fight. So saying. Boom. Ryuan showed disbelief because Albert was thrown away. You must know that Albert is not only tall and has a big body, he has actually also done martial arts training. As a result, can't you hold on even once? Ryuan was able to conquer Albert only through constant harassment, which finally caused Albert to collapse and then accepted to be led by him. But now, it seems that you are very weak, Gao Yuanji said. Grass. Come on, all of them. Ryuan did not expect that Albert would be defeated in one attempt. So Ishizaki Daichi and Koma Yayama were asked to surround Kojinji Temple. He uses violence to rule Class C. What if he loses at what he is best at? Stop. And this Handa girl trotted over directly. I want to straddle the people on both sides. Stop, Ryuan, you can't fight. This is a very cute girl with long orange hair and delicate facial features. The eyes are deep and clear. As the representative of Class C, Ryuan has ambitions. He agrees with the school's rules and is also investigating the information. Knowing the information of this girl who suddenly ran out, the other party was the representative of Class B above Class C, Hanamichi knows. He seems to have a strong sense of justice. He is considered to be the representative of Class B. But Ichi-Nose didn't come alone, there was a short-haired girl with dark green hair beside her. The two of them probably passed by and discovered what was going on here. So Ichi-Nose came out to stop him. Long Yuan. Didn't he choose a hidden place without cameras? How could so many people come? Only. Ichi-Nose, get out of here, you have nothing to do here. Ryuan said immediately. Ryuan's tone was so fierce that the short-haired girl with dark green hair who followed Ichi-Nose was almost frightened to tears. If you insist on fighting, then I'm going to report it to the teacher. Ichi-Nose did not retreat at all. Haha. Long Yuan almost laughed. It's actually a report to the teacher. Are you still a primary school student? Ah, I fell dash. However, this guy Gao Yuanji lay down at this moment. I didn't touch you. Ryuan was annoyed. Because Gao Yuanji's behavior was very strange, it seemed like he had made him angry and then deliberately acted weakly. And this weakness means pretend. And if Kojinji was just faking it, and Ichi-Nose still showed up here. Kaka. Really? Ryuan heard the sound and then saw the flash. In the direction of the flash, a girl with straight black hair stood. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 84. That girl is quite beautiful. Of course, this is not the time to pay attention to this, but the other person was taking pictures just now. In other words, the scene where they surrounded Takajanji lay down, and then Ichi-Nose came out to stop them was all filmed. And this is. It must be confirmed that he was fighting, and it was quite an excessive beating. Day. Long Yuan discovered that this was a game. And the person who will set him up. Ryuan then looked left and right looking for traces of the other party. Then now that guy Oreki, Ryuan said. Oreki, are you talking about Oreki Houtarou from Class A? Ichi-Nose said. He reported that there was a fight here, so he went to the student union. In other words, Ichi-Nose appeared here because he met Houtarou Oreki. Then he was fooled by Oreki. But Oreki went to the student union. Go to the student union? Normal people would either avoid a fight or try to stop it. In the end, Oreki went to the student union instead. Wasn't it because he disliked the matter and it wasn't a big deal? Wait a moment. But points will be deducted if you fight, and there are cameras here. Ryuan-kun doesn't want the class to lose points anymore. So, as the tyrant of Class C, Ryuan, how many thousands of points have you collected now? Are you so wary that you don't even dare to say the points? I can show you the points on my student ID card. Then let's think of it as 1 million. I accepted the 1 million points. At this time, Ryuo's conversation with Oreki Houtarou flashed through his mind. Grass. He reacted. He was hinted by the other party that he was deceived by the other party. At this time, 3 students came over. One is a serious man wearing glasses. When other people saw him, they shouted something about student council president. And the other one is a girl with a bun on her head. They are all students who appear on stage at the freshman orientation ceremony. One is the student council president and the other is Secretary Ju Jian. The student union is here. And leading the way in front of them was a handsome boy with green pupils. Oreki Houtarou. President, I am reporting the fight between first year class D and first year class C. Then, here's the picture that was taken. And Ichino-san is a witness. Oreki-san said at this time. And Horikita Suzun had already given him the photo. At the same time, Yuanji was still lying on the ground. Judging from the scene, it was indeed a fight. No matter which angle you look at it, it's hard to argue with. Then, half an hour later, Long Yuan paid 800,000 points. In order not to deduct class evaluation points, he expressed his willingness to accept mediation from the student union. The price is 800,000. Certainly. The student union only collected 50,000 points. Let Ryuan handle the rest. At the same time, Long Yuan and others were recorded for participating in the fight. If found again, severe penalties will be imposed. In other words, Ryuan can no longer use violent methods in school. If he is reported, the evidence will be conclusive, which will directly implicate the class. It was like sealing away the violence in Long Yuan. At the same time, all the 800,000 points accumulated by Long Yuan were taken away. 50,000 to the student union, 50,000 to Seudo who was caught bullying, and 200,000 to the fallen Rokusuk of Kojinji. The last 500,000 was given to Houtarou Oreki. Didn't Oreki Houtarou not get beaten? So why did you give it to him? And about this, Komayama found it incredible. Because he got into a fight and was punished, in order not to deduct his class evaluation points, Ryuan chose to pay with points. But in the end, was Oreki Houtarou the only one who got 500,000? I'm also curious, Ishizaki Daiichi said. But his tone was lighter. Because he was a participant in Oreki-san's previous store opening. Although he was terminated by Ryuan, he is still quite certain of Oreki-san's vision and insight. If it hadn't been lost to Long Yuan, then maybe it would be good to continue opening a store. But Long Yuan said. Because Oreki is eyeing the points in my hand. Have you forgotten? When a fight is reported, Oreki asks me about the counting. And what is handed over now is 800,000. I was still thinking that no matter how nice Oreki tried to talk, I wouldn't accept it and would ignore him. The result was that he was forced to hand it over as punishment. Ryuan held his hand. Oreki Houtarou, I will bear this grudge. Is it like this? Ishizaki Daiichi was shocked. This is really hummed up. Is this Oreki Houtarou so scary? And this is a student from Class A. Do the students from Class C have to rush forward and defeat Class A like this? Then, not only Horikita-san, but also some of the Class C classmates Oreki met after he found out were quite autistic. Even after meeting him, he said that he had no points for self-destruction. It feels weird. But that's a story for another day. Come out of the student union. Oreki was about to leave but was stopped. Could it be that Oreki-san took advantage of me? The other party's voice was pleasant. But it seems a little aggrieved. This was the first time they struck up a conversation, and the representative of Class B, Hanami Ichinos, had a strong sense of justice. Because Ichino-san found out that he seemed to be treated as a tool. Chapter 063 Don't use teleportation casually. Ichino's Hanami's confession scene. Hanami Itchy Nose. A first-grade student in Class B has long pink hair. Her hair is very long and exceeds her waist. But it was taken care of very carefully. Smooth and gives off a beautiful shine in the light. Her facial features are exquisite and beautiful, and her eyes are blue, very beautiful. It makes people's hearts beat when they smile. The skin is white and translucent, but there is a little bit of morbidity in the whiteness. It seems that he has not seen enough sunlight. But there is no doubt that Hanami Ichino's appearance ranks among the top 3 in the school. Because, for the current Oreki-san, if he had a talent for painting, he would probably feel that this was a beautiful scene worth painting. After Horikita Suzune, Oreki met another top beautiful girl. And she and Horikita-san have completely different styles. Horikita-san is aloof. And Itchy Nose is always lively, just and smart. It makes people feel very approachable. However, although Itchy Nose-san is the representative of Class B, there is also a very subtle point. As the class representative, Itchy Nose seems to be different from Ryuan in that she does not command the class. But she is very popular and is the type of popular idol of Class B. So the students in Class B all like her. Then, as students of Class B, 15 of the little angels of Class B participated in Oreki's plan to borrow money to open a store. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 85. And now it's month 2. None of these little angels chose to terminate their contract with him. That is to say, each of these 15 people paid 30,000 yuan this month. And they should also know that the strength of the school is paramount, so spending points every month is not a good thing. And their class evaluation scores. There are only 570 points this month. In other words, the school brought in 57,000 yuan. And last month's 100,000, the consumption and expenses after enrollment will definitely require some, and then Oreki will have to give 50,000. There may be almost none left. Then there are only more than 50,000 points this month. If you give him another 30,000 yuan, then these 15 classmates will probably live a very frugal life. In other words, Class B is more innocent. I haven't experienced the cleansing of school rules yet. At the same time, there is no attack power. Muddle along? Then observe the class evaluation scores. Class A 1,230 points. Class B has 570 points. Class C has 390 points. Class D has 0 points. Judging from the scores, Class B is far away from Class A. But it's not okay to underestimate them too much. Students in the 4 classes should be evaluated according to the same set of evaluation criteria. Among them, those with the highest scores are placed in Class A, then the others are separated according to their grades. According to the general rules of the school's desire to compete, Class D basically has no hope, and Class C's basic configuration is also very poor, but only Class B has the possibility to compete with Class A. So, students from Nanyun's class can also move up. It shows that the initial speculation about the seeded players actually exists. But the seeded players are usually placed here in Class B. Class D is a garbage dump for scumbag students. Although some problem children are excellent, we can't let the whole class climb up to represent the school's reputation. The same goes for observing Class C. So in Oreki's opinion, Class D and Class C may just be running along when it comes to class competition. What the school really focuses on is Class A and Class B. There shouldn't be much difference in the level of the 2 classes. Then Class B should also assign students with leadership abilities to Class B. This is how you can fight. And Itchy Nose should be considered one and would not lose to Katsuragi or the like. At the same time, according to the information obtained from consulting Kushida-san, Itchy Nose Hanami is very similar to her, or is even more sociable than her. Have quite a few friends. Very trusted by everyone. At the same time, the sense of justice is very strong. One person has a strong sense of justice, and Oreki-san has already felt it. Just tell her there's a fight and she comes out. Hence the current situation. Class C, represented by Ryuan Sho, attacked Class D, and the two sides fought. At the same time, Longjia Yuan's violence coefficient is max. So Ryuan proposed to use points to prevent class evaluation points from being deducted. This can be considered a useful use. The private account of your student ID card contains points earned by the school in this school. As long as you use points, you can buy anything. So, even penalties can be waived using points. In this way, Ryuan appeared and handed over 50,000 points to the student union with a straight face. Then Sudo was given a compensation of 50,000, and 200,000 points from the 6th team of Kojinji. But, when Ryuan transferred the remaining 500,000 to Oreki-san, Ichino-san finally came to his senses. Oreki-san. So, is this fight just a setup? Ichino's Hanamai said in an aggrieved tone. Then you ask me to come here, just to serve as a witness for Ryuan to beat someone up. As she said this, she began to look at him with aggrieved eyes. People's hearts are instantly attacked. It seemed like he had done something hugely wrong to her. It has to be said that Oreki has mixed feelings about this school where all the girls are beautiful. And Ichino's Hanamai is cuter than Kushida-san. Therefore, the experience points obtained from Okushida are not effective. It's just that Ichino's can now react to being cheated, and this insight is also qualified. Some students in Oreki's class are worse than Ichino's. But her affinity is unparalleled by all the students in the class. It's true that Ryuan wants to bully Sudo, Oreki said. I just participated in it, and Ichino's, you are also happy to see the current results, aren't you? I want to see you too. Ichino's was puzzled. First of all, Ryuan just used his points to avoid punishment. So we need to use points more flexibly, Oreki said. I think this is a course that is unfolding directly in front of you, and you don't seem to have a direct understanding of how to apply points flexibly. In other words, is this considered teaching her a lesson? So, when Oreki-san first entered school, he proposed to open a store and borrow points from everyone. Is it just to gather points to make it more useful? However, Ichino's asked quickly. Oreki. Oreki-san takes back his contempt for Ichino's and says that she is a popular idol of Class B. He is going to take it back. Her mind was spinning quickly. Although he may not be as good as Sake Inaga-san, if he is placed in Class A, he can beat Katsuragi-san. Therefore, Katsuragi-san cannot be used as the evaluation unit. You can understand it that way, Oreki said. Besides, Ichino's-kun, don't you think Ryuan-kun is dangerous? It's dangerous to you, Class B, at least. There are a total of 36 people in Class C who participated in my store opening plan, and these people gathered together because they hate and oppose Ryuan. But when Ryuan came to power, they all terminated their cooperation with me. And you know what this means. Ryuan is a dangerous man, Oreki said. His target must be Class A, but now, he is also very close to your Class B. Profound. So she was taught a lesson here. In fact, it's almost the same. Ichino's thought. When Nanyun called her to the coffee shop to inform her of the school's rules, she actually felt that this school was different in advance. But because there was no evidence, they didn't tell everyone. As a result, Class B missed the opportunity to perform. And now, although everyone in Class B is also very united, Ichino's also hopes to work with everyone in the direction of Class A. Result. Class C's Ryuan is much more dangerous than expected. Previously, Kanzaki-san thought Ryuan was just a violent person. But now, Long Yuan can even quickly use points too. At the same time, The students in Ryuan's class also participated in Oreki-san's plan, but Ryuan-kun directly terminated the plan to open a store and gave up the more than 1 million points he had paid in the past. And to be able to do such a thing, you really want to climb up. The class above Class C is her Class B. The difference is only 180 points in class evaluation scores. But suddenly I felt, everyone, including her, seemed to be too relaxed, and now, a sense of crisis suddenly appeared. Then I will accept this lesson, Ichino's Hanamai said. Thank you, Oreki-san. It seems that the students in class A are also very interesting. By the way, Oreki-san, can you exchange mobile phone numbers with me? I always feel that I can learn a lot from Oreki-san, Ichino said. Then look at him with that longing look. Hey. Do you want to be friends with him? Then isn't it the same as Kushida-san? Kushida also commented that Ichino's has many friends, saying that there is no way he could refuse her. But you are a student in Class B, what else do you want to learn from him? It was just Ichino's who was paying attention with longing eyes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 86. And Ichino's figure is excellent, and being so close to her makes people feel really hard to stand up to her. If it's not within the scope of class competition, Oreki said. Thank you, Oreki-san. Ichino's gently clasped his hands together, showing joy. So Oreki looked at the address book on his phone. In his address book, in addition to some classmates from Class A, there are super beautiful or cute girls like Kuruzawa, Horikita Suzune, and Kushida Kikyo. And if you add Sakayanagi Arasu, this is really incredible. 4 girls in the school who can be school bells and 1 who can be an angel have obtained their numbers. If it is exposed, then maybe it can be blown for a year. But isn't it fun to listen to people talk? Oreki-san looked at Ichino's sleeping figure, and then suddenly looked away. At the right corner of the corridor stood a tall man with blonde hair. Just standing there is a breath of my beauty radiating out. I wasn't eavesdropping, I was just combing my hair. But Oreki-san, you are so interesting, said this really beautiful man. I appreciate you. And the speed at which you collect points is so fast that people clap their hands. It's just that you should have collected a lot of points. Why do you care about the hundreds of thousands of points in Long Yuan today? Gao Yuanji said. Jiyuan Temple, the full name is Jiyuan Temple Liasuk. After Oreki asked Ryuan about the points he had accumulated, he wanted to make a scene about Ryuan beating someone. It just needs someone to cooperate. So I consulted Kushida and asked her for information on people she could beat. So I got the contact information of Syudu and Kogendera. Syudu, who is relatively ordinary, told him that Ryuan wanted to cause trouble for him, and he immediately became annoyed. Then as soon as he went out, he was really caught by Long Yuan. So brother Syudo can't act. However, the other person is Takahiraji. Oreki's evaluation of Kojinji is that he is a very smart person. Today, he was asked to co-act in Dragon Garden, and he immediately agreed. And performed very well. The script Oreki gave him didn't include lying down when he saw Ichino's coming, so he had to make his own use of it. Then, it works great. It was obvious that he had beaten Albert, but everyone felt that he was the victim. As for Syudu, it's a pity that he is not very good at testifying and finding testimony that suits him. So the final split was Syudo's 50,000, while Kojinji got 200,000. Act for 10 minutes, wait for 20 minutes, and then everyone gets what they want. However, Gao Yuanji Liasuk did not leave after receiving Ryuan's compensation, but remained standing aside. Oreki noticed it, so he asked. but Junji seemed to be more interested in him. If you pay attention to Oreki, you know that Oreki has a lot of points, so the current hundreds of thousands is a huge sum of money for a first-year student, but it is a small amount of money for Oreki. I converted the points into cash, Oreki said. It's safe. Profound. That would be boring, Junji Lyasuke said. If you collect another 20 million points, I can give you a pure 20 million, and there is no need to worry about the exchange ratio. And what I want to convey is this news, Junji said. Then he took the small mirror and combed his hair while walking up the stairs and left. That is to say, according to Kushida's information, the reason why Takahiraji has been in contact with the senior students is that they know that when the senior students graduate, the school will buy their points. And Gao Yuanji was born into a wealthy family, even though he was placed in Class D. However, his solitary personality did not get along well with the students in Class D. For example, Syudu was rescued today, but he had no intention of thanking Takahiraji. And Junji didn't care at all. So, Kojinji Temple is similar to Oreki to some extent. That is, once you are assigned to Class D and find out about the students in Class D, then the only thing that will happen is, no, it can't be saved, just wait to die. So, he initially refused to pay to listen to school rules. Because I know Class D will not change. Then naturally, there is no need to worry about it. It's just that the exchange of 20 million for 20 million in cash in the last sentence of Junji shows that he also knows that the school will collect points for graduates who only knew about it in the 3rd grade. But it's not a complete exchange. But in proportion. Oreki's is 0.8. If Junji wants to collect points from his seniors, on the one hand, he needs to be really rich. On the other hand, he probably also has the difficulty of having to collect 20 million points. Rich men don't have it easy either. Oreki sighed, then clicked on his phone. Name, Houtarou Oreki. Student ID, 100-861-0010. Class, Grade A, 1st grade. Private account, 2,825,200 points. The points on this account look a little more comfortable. But his partner is not here now. Oreki clicked on the GPS and quickly obtained information about the other party's location in the library. Probably going to the library to study and then waiting for news from him. The entire student union came over and mediated. When Ryuan gave the money, Horikita Suzun was not present. And Oreki had no intention of letting Horikita come forward. After asking her to give him the photos she took, he arranged for her to evacuate first. She and Horikita Manabu are siblings, so it would be safer for them to appear at the same time as little as possible. But now her share must be transferred to her. School library. Yuchin High School requires students to attend full boarding for 3 years. Basic equipment is also provided for this purpose, in addition to a shopping street full of life and fully equipped. However, I was probably worried that it would be inconvenient to manage, so the network on campus was restricted. Students could only contact each other and use forums. Efforts have also been made in libraries. The library is very large, occupying 1/10 of the artificial island where the school is located. At the same time, there are a large number of tables and chairs for rest in the museum. It can be used by twice as many students in the school at the same time. And the library's collection of books is also amazing. There are actually 6.8 million volumes of Xiaohuang in the entire library, normal books. According to the GPS location of Horikita-san on her phone, she was in the library. But a more specific location cannot be displayed. At the same time, the library has a total of 5 floors. So it might take some work to find her. Beep. Student card. However, when he was about to enter the library, someone had already swiped his student ID card to enter. Almost the moment he saw that person, Oreki-san knew that it would be easy to save energy when looking for Horikita-san. Because the person who entered the library was a super cute girl with short blonde hair. It's Kushida Platycodon. Kushida-san has very strong communication skills and has quite a lot of friends. Some of them are from the same class and some from other classes. Then, it seemed that she was reminded to use points to contact the third-year senior sister. So she also contacted senior students without his orders. And the evidence is that Oreki has been approached more frequently by upperclassmen recently. He didn't think he knew so many seniors. In other words, Kushida-san didn't want to spend more points to contact them, so he sold a little of his information. Then in the past few days, he found that his private message was spammed with spam pictures by someone on the forum. Looking at it this way, Kushida-san is not an absolute little angel. Oreki knew this well. After all, Kushida-san is obviously a little angel, but he keeps pestering Horikita Suzune. From this perspective, he is no longer a little angel but a cute one. In fact, the senior students from class C or D in the third grade are basically in a bad mood, and you can often see them walking towards the library. Is it for the upcoming exam? No. It's to study for myself. According to the rules of this school, only students in class A can go to the school and job unit they want. And other BCD will be arranged to graduate from other schools at the moment of graduation. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 87. As for the students in Class B, because of their high evaluations, there are basically not many bad students, so even if they fail in the competition, they can still choose to take the exam and apply for college. However, the quality of students in Class C and Class D varies greatly, and they are basically poor students. So you have to work hard for your future. And this is also a sign of despair about the school's ranking. There was no hope of climbing up. So Kushida-chan is a student in Class D, so does he have to come to the library 3 years in advance to prepare for studying? Not really. Why do you always come to hinder me? I have no contact with you at all. After just following Kushida-chan for a while, Oreki-san heard the familiar voice of Horikita Suzune. It's really annoying. I also have my own ideas. Although my academic ability is pretty good, there are still things I don't understand. So as a classmate, can't I ask for advice? Horikita-kun, this was Kushida's voice. But Horikita Suzune's voice came over. Then you go find Yuanji. His academic ability is higher than mine, and he ranked first in the written examination for class entrance, Horikita said. I'm only second. This method of communication is indeed Horikita-san's. And is this what you care about? In this case, it will be exposed that you care a lot about your written test scores. If you only know how to read, you will miss a lot of things. Oreki thought in his mind. However, Horikita Suzune continued. Also, you can go find Oreki Houtarou. Isn't he easy to talk to? Keep up your cuteness offensive. He was completely irresistible to this. Oh. This is what Horikita-san said about him. Also, you act like a straight woman, but you actually know that Kushida is using your beauty to attack him. As a result, he just watched with a calm face every time. Oreki felt like he saw another side of Horikita-san. I think Oreki-san's academic ability is not as good as Horikita-san's. Although he is in Class A, I have never seen him studying. It is said that he has not even done his homework after class. So his academic ability is probably average, Kushida said. I think it's pointless to ask him for advice, and according to Horikita-san, I still have to pay, but he can't teach me. Also, he doesn't like to read books at all. I searched his information in the library, and a month and a half has passed, and he hasn't borrowed a single book. It's really annoying to talk about beauty or something like that. I don't like that. It's just that he likes it. Profound. That's it? Okay. Oreki-san also remembered what Kushida said. And you are a very subtle person. Did he actually check whether he had borrowed books? Or maybe I want to know what books he has read and then gain a common language. And through this method, people feel like-minded, we have common interests and hobbies, and always feel mixed emotions. I always feel like my impression of Kushida-chan has declined today. But Oreki was also a little confused. Why did Kushida feel so emotional today that he didn't want to cover it up and wanted to vent it? It seemed that after harassing Horikita Suzune, Kushida walked to another place. But the location of Horikita Suzune has been confirmed. Oreki walked towards there. Horikita Suzune is indeed very Horikita. She was probably waiting for him here, but while waiting, she was also reading. The content I read was not the various miscellaneous books on the library shelves, but the teaching materials in the library. Yes. She came without any textbooks, so she borrowed the textbooks from the library. And this guy is quite interesting. She was sitting at a corner of a desk, but there were 4 books stacked on the desk. It's all physics. It's just XX version 4, XX version 5, XX version 6, XX version 7. Among them, XX version 7 is their current textbook. In other words, Horikita Suzune brought over all the physics textbooks from the past 10 years. Because the exam this time was based on old questions, all the students in the school were memorizing old papers that had been handed down. But Horikita Suzune was alone, reading textbooks from 10 years ago. Oreki suddenly remembered that when he was fooling Nagaun, he said that passing the exam would be unfair to those who have been studying. In the end, isn't this an honest person? For this exam, I recommend that you score 51 points in all subjects. Oreki walked over and said. The table next to Horikita might have been used a few hours ago, but the other person didn't put the books away. So they were scattered on the table. One of them is probably a sensual novel. She and I, the queen, want to be her masters. Horikita-san, on the other hand, did not change his attitude towards this kind of scene, or in other words, he was not interested at all. She calmly looked at the 4 versions of physics textbooks on her desk. And she is currently reading the XX version 3 physics book and has turned to page 69. Hearing this, the beautiful fox eyes looked over. Why, she said. This time the exam will be based on old questions. Because of our actions, no one dares to leak the questions. As long as they leak the questions, the other party will be the enemy of all students in the school. So all students are safe. But, Horikita, do you think all the students in your class are safe? Oreki said. Horikita Suzune. In other words, even if you get the test papers from previous years and start reciting familiar questions at the beginning of the month, Oreki-san feels that someone may still fail. Can you still fail an open book exam? Horikita said that she simply could not understand why she failed such a test paper. It would be enough to spend more time studying. But Class D knew the school's rules on the first day of the month, but the result was still a class evaluation score of 1000 points reduced to 0 points. Therefore, there is no guarantee that in this situation where it is an open book exam, there will be people who fail the exam with low scores. It means that the passing score is the average score of the class divided by 2. Horikita Suzune said. Let me take the test with a score of 51, first of all to ensure that I absolutely pass. Then you also lower my score and lower the passing mark. Can I let the students with low scores pass by with low scores? Although everyone has exam papers. But if you fail the exam, the school has stipulated that you will be expelled. It's pointless for me to do this alone, Horikita Suzune said. And this sentence also shows that the level of scumbag students in Class D has reached an unbelievable level. But even if you say that, you agree. Then this is probably the cold-faced and kind-hearted type. Oreki-san thought to himself. Trying to improve the impression of Horikita-san in my mind. Speaking of which, what happened to Kushida just now? Oreki asked. I always feel like her attitude towards you is bad. In fact, it seems to be the same for him. Because I didn't expect that he would have such an image in Kushida's heart. Every time they meet, she dazzles him with her beauty. Then Horikita-san noticed it, but just looked at it like that. And Kushida-san also knew it, and then he belittled him. Even deliberately making it look like he likes it. What he said was that he liked the way she seduced him. This sentence is really too much. Even though he had a precognitive dream at night and knew that Kurosawa-san and he would date in the future, he did not deliberately approach Kurosawa and then behave like a couple. Therefore, Kushida-san's description of him was too much. Oreki-san found that his mood was a little down. I don't understand girls' hearts anymore. She has been like this in the past few days, Horikita Suzun said. The attitude towards me seems to be more obvious. But she only behaves like this when she's alone with me. In other words, he still behaves like a little angel in front of others. And what happened to her in the past few days? Oreki said. Horikita pursed her lips. Do you think I know? But I always felt like she was venting her anger on me. Vent. Is it because he keeps pestering Horikita and is rejected all the time? Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 88. According to Horikita, Kushida was still waiting at the door of her dormitory yesterday morning. It can be said that after persisting for a month and a half, it is very strong. But is this venting just to vent that Horikita Suzun rejected her? Or are you just using this method to vent something else? But I have to say that Kushida is pretty awesome. She has become friends with almost everyone in the class, and will also work on other people's affairs, Horikita Suzun added. Profound. That's it? But this is the reason why she can get so many friends. Be kind to others and be kind to everyone. Then he probably understands Kushida's abnormal behavior towards Horikita now. She basically befriends everyone and responds to everyone. And as long as there are people, there are limits. Recently, Kushida has also come into contact with a large number of upperclassmen. Therefore, she probably couldn't bear it anymore, so she chose to release a little bit. Then she treated Horikita Suzun as a trash can to vent her emotions. Anyway, she knew that Horikita Suzun would never accept her. And Horikita Suzun's patience is terrifyingly strong. This is terrible news. But there are several meanings in using a trumpet account to send spam pictures to him on the forum. If it's not Nagamo, then it can only be. While thinking this, Oreki noticed that Horikita Suzun stood up. Since you are here, I will go back, she said. Okay, Oreki had no objection. Do you want to transfer 50,000 points to Horikita Suzun? Yes. As usual, Horikita's sister was given 10% of the reward. Moreover, I just got a lot of information about Kushida-san for free. So the price is not expensive. In this way. Boom, boom, boom. Horikita-san left the library on her student shoes. Oreki. Oreki. And looking at the different versions of physics books from the past 10 years that Horikita Suzun specially borrowed from the bookshelf. This school conducts special examinations every month. The content of the exam is diverse, and it may be like the old exam questions now. And every time you take the old questions, you still need to buy the test papers and memorize them. In other words, if you stayed here for 3 years, you would have to learn a lot of things that would be troublesome. Oreki. He didn't join any clubs, so it was easy after school. And there is plenty of time to do what you want. Usually when I go home, I usually pet my own 10-pound cat. But now, just put in a little effort. So he walked to the bookshelf and found all the editions of the 5 required subjects in physics, chemistry, English, mathematics, and biology. Ordinary students will worry that the content of the textbook is not the focus, so they must memorize the test paper. But if you know all the textbooks, all versions, and learn them all, wouldn't you be afraid of any test paper? The knowledge you have is your own. So, no need to recite it. The time now is May 19th. The days of reading are very fast. After Oreki-san stayed in the library to read a book after school, the time came on May 24th. Written examinations are conducted throughout the school. All students were given an open book version of the exam. But how much content can be memorized in the end and whether you get a perfect score of 100 depends on your ability. The school gives points for free, so it depends on how hard the students work. It seems like Oreki-san has been very busy lately. Oreki-san sat in his seat and gently supported his chin with his hand. A sweet girl's voice came to my ears. This is Arisu Sakayanagi-san from the next seat. It took a little effort, Oreki said. I've been reading a book lately. Oh, Sakayanagi-san seemed to nod slightly. However, Oreki found that the air around him seemed to have been sucked out, and almost all the classmates around him looked at him in surprise. For it. Is that an exaggeration? He just read the book for a while. Of course Oreki didn't know that since Katsuragi-san formed a study group and he got perfect marks on the spot, everyone has regarded him as an efficient genius. Result. Is this genius actually reading a book? What book are you reading? Kamuro-san at the table behind Sakayanagi Arisu suddenly joined the conversation. If it's a literary masterpiece. I'm just looking at various versions of first-grade textbooks from the past 10 years, Oreki said. I don't really like memorizing papers or anything like that. With how many pages and things to understand in the textbook, wouldn't it be more convenient to memorize the paper directly? Kamuro-san felt that he couldn't understand. If you just memorize the paper, you don't know the solution and meaning of the question. As long as the number of the question is changed, people who just memorize the paper will not do it, student Sakayanagi said. And Kamuro-san, do you understand? The divine room. Does she understand? Sakayanagi said she was still a bad student. So she still has to make learning her own thing. Rather than being opportunistic or anything like that. Kamuro-san then felt that joining the conversation between these two people was a stupid thing to do. It seems that you are really elegant, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. It's rare for me to read some books. Is this a sign of competition? Oreki didn't want to face off with Sakayanagi Yuzu. So he took out his mobile phone and clicked on his student ID card. It seems that you have been entangled by a troublesome person, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. And this sentence seems to have been heard from her. That was what he asked when he had just been transferred 1 million by an unknown person. At that time, I didn't know the gender, identity, or even purpose of the transfer person. So I felt very troubled at that time. And Oreki even had the idea of returning the points to the other party immediately as long as the other party asked for it. So the topic seemed to be over at that point. And now Banliu classmate said this. He must have seen that what he clicked now was the note that the previous Yandere-chan transferred another 2 million. Note, spend the money I give you however you want. This kind of note and transfer is really misleading. He is indeed a troublesome person, Oreki said. And this time, I almost imagined that the other party was an attractive woman. After all, he is the one who supports you with 2 million and lets you spend money as you like. This benefactor makes people feel heartwarming. Referring to her actions. Then what kind of person do you imagine the financial sponsor to be? Classmate Sakayanagi seemed interested. Fantasy. She's probably a senior who is tall, has a good figure, and is gentle at the same time, Oreki said. Or maybe a faculty member who is very tall and average in stature but has a good personality. Anyway, I don't want to be the pestering type. Oh. Sakayanagi Yuzu nodded. So he stopped talking. Because the homeroom teacher, Mr. Mashima, had already come in through the front door. Then let's start now, this month's special exam. Everyone, turn off your cell phones and put away the teaching materials, Teacher Mashima said. The exam lasts for 3 days. And I am responsible for invigilating the English subject. With that said, he wrote the words 9 o'clock minus 11 o'clock on the blackboard. And this is also the beginning of the school-wide open book exam. May 26 th. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 89. The 5th exam is over. The test results will be announced 3 days later. At the same time, there will be no classes in the afternoon and all students in the school will be on holiday. Oreki-san stretched. The exam was not difficult, but he also concentrated on reading different versions of textbooks this week, from reading, to self-study, and then integrating them. Although I didn't take any notes in the book, it takes time and energy to absorb and integrate it in my mind. So after Mr. Majima announced the holiday, Oreki left the classroom. You seem to be in a bad mood. In the row next to the Oreki table, Kamuro Maesumi said at the back table. No, Dansake Anagayuzu said. But Kamuro-kun, you may be busy today. I would also like to trouble you to borrow a book today, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. This left Maesumi Kamuro speechless. Because Sakayanagi Yuzu actually told Oreki Houtarou that he was reading different versions of the textbook. That evening I asked her to borrow books. Borrow 4 editions of textbooks from the past 10 years on one subject every day. It seems that she really responded to what she said. I also rarely read some books. Then he asked her to check the library computer to see what book Oreki was reading. Then borrow each subject for each subject. That is to say, whatever Oreki-san saw, she also wanted to see. One book is not enough. One more book won't do. Is Sakayanagi Yuzu starting to fight with Oreki Houtarou? Kamuro-san thought to himself. But she was also a little curious. Who can win the battle between genius and genius? Oreki, who was given the title of genius by Kamuro-san, returned to his dormitory and directly used teleportation. He is the type who digests it directly in class. I won't do any homework unless I have to. In less than a week, it takes a lot of energy to digest and absorb a total of 20 books on 5 subjects. So he went back at noon and fell asleep directly. When I woke up again, I saw a dark room. That means it's almost night time. Well. Oreki stretched. He turned and glanced at the clock on the table. 19:02. I don't want to cook for myself at this time, so I go to school and use my points to eat. He thought to himself. So I directly called up the system. Do you use teleportation? Yes. Back to school. There are several places in the school without cameras, and the cafeteria is probably out of food at this time. The closest place to the shopping street is the railing by the lake. Buzz. Oreki felt the scene around him change. It seems that he is back at school. He took away his mobile phone from the dormitory. Do you use teleportation? Yes. This time, go to the railing by the lake. Then, the surrounding scene changed again. However, I like you. After Oreki appeared, he heard a strange sound. And follow the place where the sound came from and look over. He saw an acquaintance. The other party had only recently been added to his address book. But she is a very cute girl. Smart, lively, and with a strong sense of justice, his insight and reaction as a representative are not inferior to those of Katsuragi-san, Ichino-san. Hanami Ichinos. However, Oreki realized that his arrival might not be a coincidence. Because, in his gaze, "I like you, Ichino-san." As if mustering up all the courage, a girl confessed her love to Ichino's Hanami. Chapter 064 Kushida takes fingerprints? Oreki, you don't know, clothes can't retain fingerprints. Part 1. After entering advanced education high school, Oreki-san felt that he had gained the ability to cheat. After obtaining the superpower system, you can get rewards by completing some tasks provided by the system. The reward is superpowers. For an energy-saving person like him, superpowers can bring convenience to life. So it attracted him. And he used it very smoothly. But what my eyes see now is, "I like you, Ichino-san." As if mustering up all the courage, a girl confessed her love to Ichino's Hanami. After using the teleportation rewarded by the system, Oreki felt that he might be in trouble. However, the location where he appeared was relatively safe. Near the seaside of the artificial island, then behind the tree trunk to the left of the railing. Hanami Ichino's, who had been confessed, stood at the railing. She put one hand on the railing, and the sea breeze blowing in her face stirred her long hair. With her other hand, she gently stroked the hair that was blown away by the sea breeze and fell away from her ears. But her expression can be seen from the side face. It seems that there is some sadness, trouble and entanglement. It's amazing that so many emotions can appear in the same person. But this picture of a side face will still make people who know how to draw think it is a beautiful composition. After all, Ichino-san and Horikita-san are both top-notch beautiful girls. Then the girl who mustered up the courage to confess her love to Ichino's was also there at the railing. So as long as you pay attention, he is not easy to be found here. Oreki looked at his cell phone. Vibrate mode. Very safe. No need to worry about someone calling and exposing his information. So he waited for developments ahead. But I have to admire it. This is the first time in Oreki-san's life that he has seen a girl confess her love to a girl. But the ending seems to be doomed. Because as a master painter, he wanted to paint Ichino's expression to be complicated. In other words, Ichino's may be aware of this kind of thing. Yes. Because the location he chose for teleportation was a quiet place that Kamuro-san had specifically visited and recorded in an afternoon without cameras, and at the same time inaccessible. It was unreasonable that Ichino suddenly appeared here. Therefore, Ichino must have known that he would be confessed. That's why I brought the other party here. In addition to finding Ichino when Ryuan took away Ryuan's points, Oreki also didn't forget to record the surrounding information. At that time, Ichino's sense of justice burst out when she appeared, but she was not alone. She also came with someone. It was a girl with short dark green hair. She looked small and a little weak, and she was a kind of protective sister. At that time, listening to Ichino's name for the other party, it seemed that he was called Chihiro. Then this Chihiro classmate actually confessed to Ichino's. Do girls confess to girls? This is probably unacceptable to ordinary people. Oreki-san's evaluation of Ichino's is quite high, and his evaluation of the opponent's insight is even higher than that of Katsuragi-san. So, at this time, Ichino's and Chihiro-san appeared here. It was because he noticed Kyungsun classmate's feelings for him. Then she didn't know what to do with it. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 90. But out of the protection of classmate Kyungsun, she was brought to this hidden place where no one would come. I like you, Ichino-san. Gently pressing his chest with his left hand, the protected classmate Chihiro mustered up the courage to confess his love to Ichino's. Ichino's. Oreki. From Oreki's position, Ichino's side face can be seen, and her expression has changed. It seems to be a bit painful. In other words, I really want to refuse. Otherwise it wouldn't be so confusing. Do you like? Itchy Nose didn't look back. I'm happy to be liked. But Chihiro-chan, I probably won't be able to respond to you. Itchy Nose said so and held the railing with both hands. Could it be that Ichino-san is already dating someone? However, Chihiro-san was almost in tears. Yes, after all, we are both girls, and I like Ichino-san and so on. Chihiro-san found that the more she talked, the sadder she became. I was almost crying just now, but now I'm crying. Itchy Nose. Itchy Nose. Itchy Nose heard Chihiro cry. Kinksun, I don't want to hurt you. But, I'm not that good of a person, and I'm not worthy of your liking, Itchy Nose said. Probably because of the weight of these words, Oreki noticed that Itchy Nose's hand holding the railing became a little stronger. Then look at Kinksun. Chihiro-san let herself cry at being rejected and bit her lip at the same time. Obviously, he didn't catch Itchy Nose's words, but he felt that he had been rejected. And Itchy Nose continued. And I come to this school excited to get new students. I can work hard with everyone to achieve Class A. But, only, I may not fall into the mood of love. So, it's not just you Kinksun today, no matter it's a boy or a girl, no matter who expresses love to me, I will reject it. I specifically pointed out that whether it was a boy or a girl, Ichino's statement was a step down for Chihiro-san. Let her know that she is rejecting her not because she is a girl, but because she will reject everyone. Is this so? Chihiro-san finally started talking again. In other words, Ichino-san will reject everyone. Itchy Nose held the railing and said, that's about it? Kinksun seemed to think she had gotten an acceptable answer. This is it? Then Itchy Nose-san, will you hate me in the future? Why do you say that? Itchy Nose seemed a little confused. I heard that if you fail to express your love, you won't even be friends anymore, Kinksun said. So I'm worried, Itchy Nose will hate me. Profound. So since you know this, don't confess it at the beginning. In other words, if you know that someone cares about you, even if you don't have a successful relationship, you will subconsciously know in your heart that the other person likes you. And you are all girls. Perhaps, the next time we change clothes together in the dressing room, we will have unnatural concerns. Oreki-san, who was standing under the tree watching the show quietly, thought to himself. For him, he chose the wrong place for teleportation today and saw such an incredible scene. However, we can collect information about Itchy Nose. There was something he cared about in what Itchy Nose just said. In his opinion, Itchy Nose is a sunny, lively girl with a full sense of justice. At the same time, the appearance is super high. And the affinity is off the charts. The result is that she actually said something like, I'm not that good and I'm not worthy of your liking. It always feels uncomfortable. Because it's like she is denying herself. Oreki-san thinks this is not a good thing. In other words, she has some sad past. Then, Itchy Nose has many friends and is very popular. Kushida-san also has many friends and is very popular. But there is something false about Kushida-san. This can be seen from Kushida's attitude towards Horikita-san. But Oreki doesn't think Itchy Nose and Kushida-san are the same kind of people. So such people will deny themselves and so on, which makes people feel complicated. Well, see you tomorrow then. Although the confession failed, Kinksun held back her tears and ran forward. In other words, the incident of confessing to Itchy Nose-san is over. So now all we have to do is wait for Itchy Nose to leave too. This can be treated as if he saw nothing. Itchy Nose seemed to be relaxing his mood. She took out her phone. Does it depend on the time? Still. However, after looking at his phone, Itchy Nose Hanamai suddenly looked in the direction of the big tree where Oreki was standing. Oreki-san. You should be here. I just wanted to contact you, but I found that you were so close. Is this hidden location where you usually come? I'm sorry, I just borrowed it and let you see, an embarrassing scene, she said. And as he said this, Oreki had already noticed Itchy Nose walking towards him. Not talking to himself, but really finding his place. At the same time, Oreki-san also noticed this distance. Ichino's phone was open and the GPS map was displayed. Then one of the red dots was almost exactly where she was. One of the red dots marked Oreki Houtarou. And Oreki knows this pattern. This is the free GPS location provided by the school mobile phone after each other has left each other's mobile phone number and added friends. You can find the location of your friends at any time. Profound. That's it? This is actually the case. By the way, Ichino-san, you wanted to find him, and then you clicked on the GPS and found that he was here. Oreki. Ichino. Now that you have seen it, then can you give me a psychological consultation? Actually, I feel very complicated right now. I don't know if rejecting Kinksun directly is the right solution, she said. And this also explains why Itchy Nose discovered him. She really wanted to consult with him. Or, she had been serious before the two of them, and she really wanted to treat him as a learning partner. Do you actually need to consult him about this kind of thing? Besides, why do the girls around me talk about psychological counseling issues? Do you have something in your heart? Oreki-san's mood is not stable. But I also know that Itchy Nose probably wants two things. One is that Chihiro confessed to her, and a girl confessed to a girl. This kind of thing cannot be spread. If it spreads, it is hard for Itchy Nose to say, but it will definitely affect Chihiro classmates. So Itchy Nose probably wants to protect Chihiro-san. I won't tell anyone, Oreki said. Then I saw Ichino's expression that seemed to be relieved. Then, the sun can keep everyone warm, Oreki said. But some people will feel that this is their own light. Ichino-san, this is probably Chihiro-san's misunderstanding. And it's not your fault, he said. Yes, is that so? Ichino-san seemed to be stunned for a moment. Maybe I didn't expect Oreki-san to be so understanding. I feel like my mood has relaxed, Ichino said. Kinksun is the type who is relatively weak and seems to be accustomed to relying on others. I am also wondering if I have misunderstood her. And does that mean your mood has calmed down? Also, Chihiro-chan's full name is Shirobo Chihiro, and Oreki-san, you call Chihiro-chan so intimate, could it be that you like Chihiro-chan? Itchy Nose said. No, however, Oreki quickly refused.